evening to everyone present here. It is needed a matter of immense pride and a great joy to welcome you all to the 130th online interactive session, which also marks the 102nd Leadership Development Program by Corporate Mentor, organized by Delhi School of Professional Studies and Research. I extend my warmest greeting to our honorable guest speaker for the day, Rotarian Manish Alagh sir, Honorable Senior Professor Ajay Kumar Singh sir, Honorable Director Professor Dr. Maurya Sharma sir, respected Registrar Dr. R.S. Singh sir, respected faculty members, and my dear fellow students. I, Evan B. Josh, a proud BBA student, batch 2024 to 28, at DSPSR, feel truly honored to stand before you this evening. DSPSR has always been committed to bridging the gap between academia and industry, nurturing students with professional insights and leadership skills. And today's session is another remarkable step in that direction. To begin this evening on the auspicious note, let us all take part in the lighting of the virtual lamp, symbolizing the triumph of knowledge over ignorance and the illumination of wisdom and learning. May this divine flame inspire us to strive for excellence and success in all our endeavors. Now, I kindly request Arun sir to please play the virtual lamp lighting video.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा शुभं भवतु कल्याणम् आरोग्यं सुखसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते।
Okay. Okay. It is my immense pleasure to extend a heartfelt welcome to our distinguished guest speaker, Rotarian Manish Alagh sir, Head of Business Development, Automotive Aftermarket, SAARC region, and Secretary and President-elect of the Rotary Club of Delhi, Maurya. Sir brings with him over 25 years of dynamic experience in business development with more than 17 years in leadership roles within the automotive aftermarket industries. He has successfully launched the position top German brands such as Continental, Schaeffler, and Hella in India and other SAARC countries. An alumnus of IIM Kolkata and IIT Delhi, Sir embodies a rare blend of strategic business vision, leadership's excellence, and academic brilliance. His achievement include receiving the Global Excellence Award for his innovative retailer loyalty initiative, one brand sufficient, and being recognized as the Asia Best Performing Regional Head for his consistent business development excellence. Beyond his professional success, Sir is also an active Rotarian, contributing to various social and mentoring initiatives for over 5 years, a true inspiration for all aspiring leaders. On behalf of DSPSR, we extend a warm welcome to you, Rotarian Manish Alagh sir, and we look forward to gaining valuable insight from your rich experience and leadership journey today. And we are equally pleased to have as a moderator today, Mr. Ranveer Singh Panwar, a bright and enthusiastic BBA student, batch 2024 to 28 at DSPSR. He's a proactive learner and confident communicator, deeply committed to developing his leadership, management, and analytical abilities. His dedication to academic excellence and has his keen interest in industry-oriented learning make him a deserving moderator. For this interactive session, on behalf of DSPSR, I warmly welcome you, Mr. Ranveer, and wish you all the best in steering today's session successfully. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Mr. Evind. It is our privilege to welcome you, Rotarian Manish Alagh sir, to the 130th online interactive session. We are truly honored to have you with us today. I'm certain that your insights will make this session not only highly engaging for the students, but also enriching for everyone present here. To make this session more interactive and beneficial for our students, I would now like to ask you some questions focused on student development and career growth opportunities. Shall I, sir?
Oh, yes, sure.
Thank
Go
you so
ahead.
much, sir. Sir, what key factors help you sustain a successful 25 years of journey in business development, especially in such a competitive industry?
See, I think competition is our world. So we are always around, surrounded by competition, and competition is always around. So I think we must learn to embrace the competition because we have no way to escape it. So it's so important for the budding leaders or aspiring leaders to start thinking about meeting the competition with courage, with sort of plan, and also with sort of understanding. So, in my view, it is so important that we should have a clear vision that what is our direction, and to our vision we should always keep the competition in mind because they make us better and better and help us improve in continual basis.
Okay, sir. How did
Yeah.
you identify and seize opportunities by launching international brands like Continental in the Indian market?
Yeah, this is very interesting because when we thought of launching this brand in Indian market, we had several challenges that were posed by the competition, which were from primarily from the price side, and also the quality is not something which is a priority. So Continental, I what I like most about the German brands or the German companies, for them the quality is always on the top. So this is something that they cannot compromise with. So when I was given or I was vested this responsibility, my first agenda was to how to meet competition because the expectations of the market is to stay competitive. The prices should be not too much different, and sometimes when you are a new brand they expect you to be even lower than your existing players in the market. But this is where a leader makes a difference because if you are a visionary leader you can really think before or you can plan before. So before you start launching a product, it's so important to have a proper research that what is the segment you're targeting, where would you like to position your brand. So we did all this research beforehand so that we know exactly that what we are going to do, and then we understood our major agenda is to position the brand into a premium segment or the quality segment. So to come to that conclusion it took us some time, but then we once we know it that this is our agenda or this is our target, and then we only have to execute the plan in a way which really fits in the environment. So there is always an ecosystem which you have to understand, and once you are able to realize that how you can fit in that ecosystem, you have to decide what are your what are your attributes which you would like to first put forward. So this is exactly what we did. We had a game plan and then we worked that plan in a manner which helped us to reach number one in the market, despite the fact that we were never cheaper or never uh, below the competition price. So we always positioned it above, and this is how we managed to get the number one position.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you tell us your biggest challenges in positioning a German brand for Indian aftermarket and how did you overcome them?
Yes, I think I just explained that our biggest challenge was to understand that our competitors, who are generally or mainly the local players, and these local players were very strong. For example, they had about 40% market share. So it was so tough for a brand who is expensive, for a brand who is unknown, for a brand who is who has not been tried, and people don't believe you, then how do you reach to the right customer base or the right consumers? So this challenge was a tough journey for us. And as I mentioned, that we had to do plenty of research to understand that what is our path, what is our go-to market strategy. And then we finalized that this is our go to market strategy, and we will go in the manner which will position us into a premium segment. So we had no chance to win on pricing, because being a German brand, being a profitable company, we would not like to, lose our profitability, because this is no business when you are entering by letting your profit go out, or at the cost of your profitability. This is no business. Business is to earn money. And to do that, we had a clear plan. But the factor was that how to manage the channels, because our business was very strategic by behavior. And to manage these channels, we followed a simple procedure, which is called standardization. So it is only by way of standardization we could able to manage our this biggest challenge of bringing a brand which is more expensive, which is better quality, but how we are able to combat this inter distribution competition, all these things could be managed by way of standardization. So this was our formula.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you tell something about standardization? You just mentioned a term. Sir, can we know more about it? What is standardization and what we actually do in that?
Standardization is basically you cannot have different rules, because if you have different rules for your different customers, then there is a conflict. And then you get into a conflict which you don't want to really invite. This is like inviting a problem. So standardization is a solution of avoiding conflicts. But for that, to implement standardization, you also need to work on your ecosystem. You also need to work on your environment. So what we did, we identified our customers um, who are having equal level positioning. And then we identified our markets where we can first start business with, which is more quality conscious markets. And then we formulated certain methods, certain strategies which are equal for all customers. So when you have standardization, when you have universal pricing, and then customers have very less to come back, and there's very less chance of possibilities of conflicts. And if you are able to reduce conflicts, then you can at least make sure that your passage is clear, and then you move forward fast.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you describe a decision that completely transformed your business outcomes and what was your thought process behind it?
There is no standard thing, because business is an ongoing activity. So you can never say that we had one turning point or one, because it's something where you have to be extra careful. You have to be consistent in your behavior. So quality is not only by products. The quality is generally by your each and every action that you take in the market. What kind of customers you are choosing? What is your product set? What is your pipeline? So what is your warranty handling? What is your query handlings? So how quickly you communicate back to your customers, how responsive you are you customer centric or not? If not, what is your uh, draw lines? So you have to make decisions which are very much clear and very much professional. So if you are going away from professionalism at any point of time, your customers start losing trust. So I think the biggest thing is maintaining quality and achieving trust. So this is exactly what we have to work upon.
Yes, sir. How did you balance long-term strategic planning with immediate operational challenges, sir?
Because the immediate plans are, or the short term plans are always based on your long term goals. So leaders who would really make a difference to this world or to this competitive world have to be visionary. So it's so important to have a vision, and the vision have to be a long term vision, because if you know which direction you are going, it is also a patience game. You cannot be too anxious to achieve your results, because sometimes your strategies or your what is strategic is long term. So if you are really thinking something which is too short, or you want to achieve results too early, too fast, then you happen to pay cost. And this cost sometimes is irreversible. Sometimes it is too expensive that you big good brands also don't survive. So it is so important to have a consistent, sustainable strategic plan. And this is long term. And then you can have your short term executions, because once again, you cannot achieve your plan immediately. You have to have a timeline attached to it. And that timeline should have steps, how you would go by steps. And the steps could be faster, steps could be bolder, but steps have to be in the direction of your long term plan. So this is kind of a combination which is very essential. There is no short term plan which is not in line with your long term plan, and then you can call it a successful plan. This don't happen. So you have to have everything aligned with your long term plan.
Okay, sir. Sir, how important is adaptability in a career spanning multiple industries and roles?
Yeah, this is a good question, because you see, adaptability is something which is now becoming very essential. Market is dynamic, business is dynamic, things are not remaining the same. What brought you today in one what position does not mean that the same thing will bring you or take you ahead. You always have to make a change. And this change is important, because you cannot change only based on your personal thoughts. You always have to be informed. So I think the most important factor to be agile or to be adaptable is to keep learning. We say that learning never ends. You have to keep learning, getting information, and learn more from the market, from the business, from the changing trends. You have to be more looking forward, and then you know exactly where you have to tweak things up. Sometimes minor tweakings can help you. Sometimes you are into a crisis situation, then a leadership or a leader needs a different outlook, and then you have to do something called crisis management. So there is no definite situation which you can master. You have to be agile, you have to be adaptable, so that things change, and then you accordingly make your turns and tweaks, and then you are successful.
Thank you, sir. That was really insightful. Sir,
Thank you.
how did your experience with high precision German brands shape your approach towards quality and performance?
I think quality is something which is, which improves your chances of success. Or I would say, in other words, your chances of success are highest when you are promoting a quality product. So the definition or USP which you really put to the market is something which your skill is your skill. So how impressively you are able to define or state your USP to the market is definitely dependent on each individual. But the quality, if you don't deliver according to your commitment, then you don't succeed. So it is so important for us to introspect first, to know what are real attributes, what are real positive things which we can highlight. Business is something which is not based on, you know offering or making any false or very flashy commitments. Business is talking truth. Business is talking fair. Business is being fair. If you are fair, you're accepted for long term. If you are not fair even once, you lose a lot. And then to recover that, it takes sometimes years, and sometimes it is not possible. So it's so important to stay fair, in my view.
Thank you, sir. Sir, what role does ethics and compliance play in building long-term business success?
I think this correlates with what I just mentioned, because ethics are the most important foundation. So you have quality is also ethical, because quality does not mean that you are only using quality for the sake of your business or your earnings or your profit margin. No, quality also means that you care about your customers. You give them something which is good for them, which is essential for them, which is adding value. So if you are, say, charging any money and you are adding value more than, then it is called worth. So it is so important for companies to weigh the worth. And compliance is something which is today inevitable. If you look in the today's scenario, especially companies who are like OEMs, for example, why these companies are flourishing? Because they invest into the trust of the customer. What is investing into trust? You do a little more. So why a good quality product is expensive? Because these companies invest more to generate customer trust. Customer trust is not generated by only getting a good product out. It is also generated by reactions of the customers, and then making additional improvements if required. If not, then also we need to think about the new technology, because you cannot be a redundant technology, and it is so important to build a pipeline. So these areas where you continuously thinking about your customers welfare, about their advantages, about the words that you generate, the value you generate, this is what is compliance. So companies who are compliant, they normally follow rules inside first, and then they reflect out. I hope you got the answer.
Yes, sir, that was really a good answer. Sir, what were the turning points in your career that redefined your leadership and professional goals?
So when I look back, turning points, as I mentioned, they are they are not like so dramatic like a cricket match that you have any turning point. But for any business to be successful, the leadership had to have a right vision. So if the vision is right, there will be certain challenges which will come en route. But these challenges have to be managed with wisdom, with knowledge, with information, with research, and also with a confidence that what we are approaching is the right way. But in my view, what I really value the most is our methodology. If we are more customer centric, means we understand what our customer wants. So most of the leaders understand that customer wants a cheaper product, which is not true. So it is so important that you should really be able to look deeper. You should understand your customer first. Customers today are looking at this service. They are looking at the product who really gives them worth of their money. They are looking at the products who are companies who are ethical, who don't cheat. So if you are a company who is really willing to win hearts, don't only look at the price, always look at what in addition you offer. And this is the whole package, which makes it a quality package.
Okay, sir, that was a great answer. Sir, how would you define success after 25 years of professional experience? Is it performance, growth, impact, or something else?
Well, success is satisfaction in my view. So if you think that you could add value, if you think you were maintaining ethics, if you think you really was truthful, if you think that you did not cheat anyone, if you think, or after some years you believe that you were able to and people like you or people trust you, if you're able to generate trust, then you are successful. And normally successful is only giving you some satisfaction, because you are never fully satisfied. There are always further ways, you can always do more. So I think people who are successful, they redefine their targets, and they always raise the bar, because this is so important to keep looking for further achievements. So it's an endless story in my view.
Yes, sir. Sir, what qualities distinguish a good leader from a great one in today's business environment?
I think uh, leaders who are great have a vision. So there are two things which are very important. One, do you have a right vision? If you have a right vision, it's not enough. You should also know how to enroll the people around you, or your team, or your managers, or your supervisors, into your vision. So vision is what? It's just an idea. And if you have a vision, you should know what are the challenges that you might come across. And if you don't know, if you discuss or if you present your vision to your friends, colleagues, or whomsoever is going to work together with you, and then they pose questions, and if you in the end are able to enroll them into your vision, then you know that your vision is right. So this is what great leaders do, that they don't only have a vision in mind, they don't only pose up an idea, but they also meet all the queries, and they also make sure that the people who are um, listening, or who are participating, or who can be contributors, they should be fully enrolled to that idea. So this is called a participative leadership style.
Sir, how do you motivate your team, sir, to align with your long-term vision? Like you mentioned, your team is with you, and you want to align them with your long-term vision, and you are facing resistance or uncertainty. How do you motivate them?
I think one thing which I already mentioned is enrollment. If they are enrolled to the vision, then they start taking ownership. So once you are able to achieve ownership from your team members, then they work with you for your ideas without much reservations in mind. So, but it can be a start, because when you start things, you have to really be very close to your team members. There is a term called freedom to act. In fact, understanding what an idea maker wants, but at the same time, you have to give them, or I would say you have to create a scope of their acting with some freedom. So there have to be certain boxes which they should be able to check, because if you don't give them that kind of leverage, then uh, they're not taking ownership, that they don't feel participating, don't feel contributing. So the best way to motivate is not by giving incentives or by offering promotions. The best thing is to make them understand that their role is important. If they are if they are contributing, their contributions are acknowledged. So I think a good leader always know how to motivate his team by simply getting closer to their hearts, by understanding what they want, giving them some freedom to act, and also able to communicate wherever he thinks that we are going too away from the topic.
Okay, sir. Sir, how do you ensure transparency and trust among stakeholders while maintaining organizational discipline?
Transparency uh, is a very good terminology which you just mentioned, because transparency generates trust. So the question is, if you are transparent, how much? For any business, it's not important to be, or it's not essential to be 100% transparent. But if you are 90% transparent, somebody who was very senior to me, and he was a German. So once he told me that 90% is equal to 100%. And this is something we must understand, that we cannot achieve 100% accuracy. This don't happen. And people who are trying to do this, they are generally less agile, and they happen to miss or disrespect or dishearten people who are in team with them. So it's so important to understand that you cannot always talk about 100% accuracy. So first and foremost thing is to be agile, to stay a little bit calm. Even if you get 90% of the results, it's okay, it's acceptable. But more important thing is that how do you bring the transparency? Because yes, transparency leads to trust, but how do you bring transparency? And I think I gave this answer before to you, that if you follow standardization, standardization helps you to be transparent, and this will make sure that people accept you, even if 10% people who don't find it too much interesting, they also happen to accept it over the period of time.
Yes, sir. Sir, what's your approach to conflict resolution within a team or a partner network?
um, I think one thing is very important, that resolutions, when you try to become a judge, you actually create a little bit of dissatisfaction. So resolutions, once again, is depending upon the solutions which are more win-win. So the best alternative is to create ideas which have win-win factors. For example, there is always a solution lying in the middle, but we normally try to be, biased, skewed on one side. So a right leader should know how to develop situations that create win-win environment, that make sure that everybody who is involved in the conflict believes that he has something to take away. So that is the best way to find, and generally middle way is the right way.
Okay, sir. Sir, can leadership be taught or is this something that comes from experience?
Well, leadership is by interest. Leadership is something which you get if you aspire. Leadership is leading by examples. So, one, if you are able to apply things to yourself first, and then you can set examples for people to follow, then leadership is really meaningful. Why should somebody accept your ideas if you cannot yourself implement them? So, leadership is setting examples, leading by examples. And this is something which you have to learn, you have to adopt. And I don't really believe that leaders are only born. There are definitely some traits which you are born with, but it is very, very possible to adopt the leadership styles by only understanding that the convincing way is to lead by examples, setting examples, I mean.
Sir, talking about leaders, how do you identify potential leaders within your team that you think that can be the best mentor for future roles?
Yeah, this is also a very very interesting question. To be honest, I like this question very much, because you see, identifying potential is something which is very vague. Some people say those people who have high communication skills, they are potential people. No, it's not essential. There is no hard and fast rule. So first of all, I have seen most of the people who are on the top positions, they are able to find faults. So whenever you show them a book or a document, the first thing they will notice, I know the CEO material, I say there are people who have an eye to find a fault. So they are fault finding people. In my view, finding a potential, to find a potential, you need to have a positive outlook, because everyone has something good in him. But can we really find out? So there is a theorem which landmark always, that I am the cause in the matter, means I have to first understand, am I able to read the person well? There was a very interesting example I noticed. There was an ad from a candy called Dimag ki batti jala de Mentos. So if you can recall that, this was a guy, and they were trying to check if he can hit the target, and he was never winning, or he was never achieving the target. So then they found the role for him, that he can be best fit for the circus, where you have to throw the knives and the you know target is never hit. So the potential is always in the person, but we are not able to see it well. But there are certain situations where you find some people don't fit in, because their ability skill sets are entirely different. So you cannot really walk a lot, because there are time agendas. But in my view, you a leaders are sometimes required to handhold more those people who need more attention. And normally, I have seen some leaders who try to get them away, those people whom they find are not fitting, or they are not able to do so, because they don't want to invest their own time. So once again, I am the cause in matter. I think it is so important for us to realize that potential lies, but can we nurture it? If we cannot, we can blame it on the person who is there. But that's not the leadership style.
That was really insightful, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
what the biggest mistake leadership young what the what's the biggest leadership mistake young professional do, and how can they avoid it?
I think when you become a little over ambitious, this is something which I see that young leaders are doing. They have good set of ideas, but when they have an idea, they don't really have patience to wait or research much, because a good idea can also fail if you don't execute it in a right way. So to my understanding, the young leaders have to have little bit extra patience. They have to also see if the ideas what they are saying, what kind of downside. So due diligence, what are the challenges, what can they face. They should talk more about their ideas. They should be open to discuss their ideas, throw ideas on the table, and see the reactions. Brainstorming is a very good idea, a way by which you can verify the quality of your ideas. So the young leaders only need to be they have really great ideas. I really love to hear some lovely ideas, and I've learned a lot from them. And I keep tweaking a little bit, but I always only propose, because if someone wants to position his idea, I let him do this. And we should, as a leader, know if these aspiring leaders have a real ability to make it happen or not. Even if they are somewhere lagging, we should come forward to support them and make sure that their ideas succeed. because nothing tastes sweeter than success. So if they succeed, then their confidence rise by, many times. So I think this is very important, that we have to have a experience and young leadership together, working together, so that they can really complement each other.
Okay, sir. Sir, how do you maintain consistency in leadership style while dealing with different cultural or regional workforces?
Well, consistency is something which you cannot leave, because, as I mentioned to you, we are walking on a very thin rope. So you have a very small scope of error. I would say that there's a almost negligible scope of error. So we always encourage a culture of making first time right decisions. I have seen most of the companies or brands who were anxious in achieving quick growth, or and they made a short mistake which they thought that they can correct it later, but unfortunately it did not happen. They could not. So I strongly recommend and I follow the to take extra time before you make a decision, do some extra learning, some extra research, and then make a decision which is first time right. And for that, you have to really have all your options available with you, and then you choose the best of the options out of that, because there can be very close options who look or appear good, but how to choose the best is once again a skill which you can incorporate with your experience.
Okay, sir. Sir, according to you, what does innovation mean in a traditional industry like automotive aftermarket?
Well, innovation is, in my view, it's so important. You can be innovative only if you're customer centric. Be closer to your customer, listen to your customer. If you are listening your customers well, they tell you what is happening. You cannot be everywhere. Don't expect to be knowing everything. You cannot learn everything by books. You have a channel around you, you have an ecosystem around you. Believe your ecosystem. Keep your ears open. Always be sure that what your customers are telling is their expectations. And interesting learning for you all is that whenever you meet someone or somebody who is important for you from professional aspect or a professional perspective, always look for what they say in the beginning. They would tell you first their pain area, their interest area. And it is so important for you to understand and make a note and then verify. You don't have to accept everything, but if you don't listen carefully, then you miss the bus. So, innovation is a result of your proper listening, proper understanding, looking forward for the trends, understanding your customers' expectations, and then act in accordance.
Okay, sir. So, how do you evaluate whether a new business idea or strategy is worth implementing?
See, there are two fields. One is value field, another is growth field. So you have to differentiate that what kind of field are we pursuing. So there can be some business idea which is only having a scalable, which is having a scalable potential. So this is called growth field. When you know that this business will scale up, and it will scale up like anything, the market will explode and the business will develop very fast. But there are always also some businesses which are maybe niche areas, which are not going to grow very fast or grow at a great scale. Then what do? Then you add value to it. And the value can be to your customers and also to your company. So always think win-win. We can add value to our customers, we can add value to the company. So these are called the value fields. And you have to make a clear distinction between a value field and a growth field, and then you have make to make your strategies according to the kind of field that you have identified.
Okay,
Clear?
sir. Can you share how the one brand sufficient concept reshaped your market presence and what lessons students can learn from it?
So this is a very specific concept. In fact, when we were into our journey to become market leaders, so at that point of time, we understood that the future will be to the companies who are more service oriented. So customer service is the key factor which we had to keep it in mind. So when you read this name, one brand sufficient, what does it mean? It means that there is a variety of the products which are available for the maybe same kind of category. And if you miss some of the components, you open door for your competition. So we wanted a concept which will make our customers brand loyal. And to win their loyalty, we offer this concept called one brand sufficient, which means that this brand, Continental, maybe can meet all your requirements. Means you don't have to look at the competition. So we created this idea and we submitted this idea to our customers who wanted a service, who are ready to pay for the right servicing ability of the company. So they valued that they get everything under one umbrella and everything comes to them. And since we had an opportunity, and this was more exclusive because we, by virtue of a multinational company, had a chance to bring everything together, irrespective of the cost. So nobody asked us the question about cost. It was a concept which had a multi-dimensional impact. And the first impact was to meet the entire need of any uh, end user or retailer, that he wants something, everything together from one house with a lot of convenience. So they don't have to go in different places and search for the product. So this made customer convenience is our key factor in this concept. So one brand sufficient is only targeting towards making people more brand loyal. If you are able to service them well, we are delivering them into a time. We had incentives for them. We had many other offers which make this concept very interesting and make them feel very premium and very respected by joining this program. So this is how we created this concept.
Yes, sir. So, what are the key metrics or signals you look for to assess market potential before launching a new product?
So there are several things that you have to keep it in mind, because sometimes you have a demand for the product which is maybe by the masses, but these masses sometimes don't have a buying power. So you have to make a decision based on your um, you know business style. So your business style or your business model may have some channel partners who need a good profitable solution, but the end customers are absolutely not ready to buy. But on the other hand, there are always a chance where a customer is not happy because you have to give an option. So when India had only Maruti selling very strong, today also they have 40% market share. But they were very happy because they had only in the past some Fiats or ambassadors, and then suddenly Maruti made a big difference. But look at today's scenario. Today there are n number of options. So there are customers who are ready to pay for a better demand or a better product or a better service. So the business potential varies, because if you have a customer set who's empowered, They like to try, they like to experiment, and if you are able to give them worth of their money, then they are ready to accept. So you have to really evaluate what is your part of the pie which you can pick. So once again, as I mentioned, this is again going with the growth and value formula. So you can identify what is the your share of pie, and then you can accordingly uh, you know decide your go to market strategy in growth or the value terms.
Okay, sir. Sir, how do you blend customer feedback, market data, and intuition while making strategic decisions?
Yeah, information, as I mentioned, is very important tool. So if you are not informed, if you don't make decisions uh, being fully informed, then you are very high on making an error or a mistake. And as I mentioned to you, that we are a company who would like to make the first time right decisions. So, for example, we achieved our leading market position in just 15 years, which other companies who are also multinational companies, they are not able to do in 35 years also. So how could we do it right? Because how could we achieve it so fast? Because we had a clear plan, and we try to get all the information beforehand. What is the right decision? Evaluate your options, state your options, evaluate your options, and make a decision which is most appropriate from that given situation. And you should also look at this, that if there are any implications which may happen because of your decision, and if these implications are controllable, then you are good to go.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you tell what future trends do you foresee in automotive aftermarket industry over the next decades?
For sure, things are more becoming electronic, digital, and we are more getting into an environment which works, with technology. So, in my view, technology is something which is going to make a big difference in future. So, companies who are technological by behavior, who are companies who invest in technology, companies who invest in creativity, companies. But not every creative thing is successful, because in the end you have to also correlate with the advantages which it imparts to the human or the human interest. So in my view, you cannot ignore to have digital mode now, because it is something which is inevitable. It is becoming a part. Young generation today, if you look at them and they don't see something which is digitally oriented, then they don't accept it, because for them conventional is not something which is modern. So to be modern, it is important to embrace the digitalization and try to be more technology oriented, because this is going to be a key factor and the key selling point in future.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights. That is from my side. Now, anyone from the participants who want to ask any question can ask.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Can I ask a question, sir?
Yes, please go ahead, Mr. Kurana.
You have talked about market research, and then you have talked about ongoing feedback also being taken from the customers. So I am asking you a very simple and straightforward question from a statistical point of view. Which type of market research you feel is the most optimal or most effective in your past experience?
So you see, your market is your field. Your market is your area of business, and you learn from your market. So when you are in the market, when you are present in the market, if you are not visiting your customers, if you are then you don't get to know. When you hire an agency, for example, to make a research, This is maybe interesting when you have to start a new business, but if you're already in the business, then it is so important to stay in constant touch with your customers, because when you hire an agency, sometimes they also have limitations to understand your exact needs, and your business needs nobody can understand better than yourself. So it's so important to make sure that you, when if you are starting a new venture, then it is you can hire an agency and then you can use any of the best agencies, but I can still tell you, you have to work very closely with those agencies because they sometimes don't fully understand your need. And the set of I think survey they make, this the sample set is also very important, how they choose it. So you have to really work very closely with them. So any of good agencies can do the job provided you are closely involved. Did I answer you completely, Mr. Krana? You're on mute.
Ah. No, I have understood what you have said, but still, wanted that once you are saying that since you are already in the market, so you yourself are involving. So, what I'm trying to understand is who are the people who are actually going to the market and then deciphering what is done, and actually, how does it percolate up to take a final decision?
So there has to be a feedback system which you as a leader should implement. If
Okay.
you are a leader, and you should know how this there have to be, there are two passages normally. One passage is how the product travels down to the end user, and the reverse passage is for the feedback or the information that you like your end user to give, return it back to you. So you should always try to make sure that the passages are working both sides. And to make it happen, it is important that the leaders always look for the communications until last level. So the basic difference which any organization makes to the business is by setting up a right communication system. Trust you me, if the communication system is not efficient, organizations normally take a wrong track. So it is so important. I think this is the most important factor for any business leader, or I would say CEO, to ensure that he set up a right communication system from bottom to top, or top to bottom.
Absolutely, sir. This is what exactly I wanted to call out of you, and you have hit the target fully. Great, sir. All the best, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kurana, for your question.
Hello, sir. Sir, what message would you like to give to young management students who are pursuing a business degree who aspire to become leaders and entrepreneurs in the futures?
Well, my message is very simple. And the leader, to become a leader, you need an interest first. Because if you have an aspiration, or if you have an interest, that really brings a new thoughts in you. And there is a passage, there is a method, there is a way which you can adopt, learn, because there is nothing that you cannot learn if you really have an interest. So my clear message is leadership is not by only some born qualities. Leadership is based on your interest. Look at your interest. Are you really ready to become a leader? Are you ready to set examples? Are you ready to look ahead? Are you visionary? If yes, you can definitely become a leader.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome,
And
Abin.
thank you. We are truly grateful to our honorable guest speaker, Rotarian Manish Alagh, sir, for sharing his valuable time, experience, and wisdom with us. Sir, your words on leadership, innovation, and business excellence have truly inspired all of us to think critically, lead with purpose, and strive for conscious growth. On behalf of DSPS, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for your insightful guidance. And I would like to extend my gratitude to Mr. Ranveer for moderating the session with the great enthusiasm and pulse. I also take this opportunity to thank our respected dignitaries, faculty members, and my fellow students for their consistent support and participation in making this event a grand success. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you so much, sir. That was a really a special evening.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I'm also equally pleased to be here, and thank you for having me here. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.